start with a Nancy Griffith tune. Have you heard of her? Hey, Mark. We do a drink of water first. Jesse Coons. Jesse Coons. Justin. Kind of appropriately, see how we were waiting for you. We were waiting for you, Jeff. And somebody has to tell me the balance is okay. Seems like a musician. Are you a musician? Yeah, the bass is too loud. Somebody tell me and I'll turn it down. Anna, you it's perfect time. No, I don't like that word. Delay, we stretched. Here you got it. All right, you guys, here we go. Everything's coming up roses, whether it seems like it or not. This life is filled with wonder. This life is full of days not spent. Cannot help but ponder just what real wants that is. Oh, and everything's coming up roses. When I'm pushing up daisies, they'll want roses anyway. Oh, and everything's coming up roses. Coming up roses every day. I got a heart with confusion. I'm punched on straight at the top, feeling watered down and deluded. Still this weather's holding fine. Oh, and everything's coming up roses. When I'm pushing up daisies, they'll want roses anyway. Oh, and everything's coming up roses. It's coming up roses every day. Now there's a piece of land in Kentucky. My grandfather worked one long holiday. Now it's a flat, plain, black top strip mall. But I remember what he'd say. He'd say everything's coming up roses still. When I'm pushing up daisies, they'll want roses anyway. Oh, and everything's coming up roses. Coming up roses every day. Oh, and everything's coming up roses. When I'm pushing up daisies, they'll want roses anyway. Everything's coming up roses. Coming up roses every day. Every day. By the dozen. Every day. Hey, hey. Wow, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, moving right along. I'd like to thank CAG for asking us to come and be with you today. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. All right, here we go. Some of them were dreamers, some of them were fools who were making plans and thinking of the future. With the energy of the innocent, they were gathering the tools they would need to make their journey back to nature. While the sands slip through the opening and their hands reach for the golden ring, with their hearts they turn to each other's hearts for refuge. In the troubled years that lay before the deluge, some of them knew pleasure, some of them knew pain, and for some of them it was only the moment that mattered. On the brave and crazy wings of youth, they went flying round in the rain, and their feathers, once so fine, grew torn and tattered. In the end, they traded their tired hopes for the resignation that living brings, and exchanged love's pride, the fragile love, for the glitter and the rouge. In the moment, they were swept for the deluge. Let music keep their spirits high. Let the buildings keep our children dry. Let creation reveal its secrets by and by, by and by. When the light that's lost within us reaches the sky, some of them were angry at the way the earth was used by the men who learned how to alter beauty into power, and they struggled to protect her from them, only to be confused by the magnitude of her fury. When the sand was gone and the time arrived, in the naked dawn only few survived, in attempts to understand a thing so simple and so huge, believing they were meant to end after the deluge. Let the music keep our spirits high. Let buildings keep our children dry. Let creation reveal its secrets by and by. When the light is lost within us reaches the sky. And the slow burning of beats without crying. Now I want to understand. I've done all that I could to see the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can, Dr. Eyes. Please tell me what you see, 'cause I don't know why. Just say if it's too late for me. taken from these streets. Just go where they will, and never notice them until got this feeling, and it's later than it seems. Doctor, my eyes, please tell me what is wrong, 'cause I am the wise to leave them open for so long. Doctor, my eyes, please tell me what you see, 'cause I am the wise. Just say if it's too late for me. Thank you very much. Jessicans. Miss Jessicans. What? Catherine, of course. Otherwise known as... Huh? Hey, so nice to see y'all. All right. This is another Nancy Griffith tune, and I really like it. It's called This Heart. But the idea is that 1, 2, 3, 4, This heart was almost taken. This heart had a love of its own. This heart was a reawakened when you came along. This heart was born to running. This heart's on the porch light on. This heart hit the sidewalk, wondered why you left it on. This heart was stranded in the winter and stuck out in the blizzard in its summer clothes. This heart knows when the love comes and when it goes. This heart heard the telephone ringing. This heart's gonna let it go. This heart knows the bell she's hearing at the telephone. This heart has heard your laughter. This heart has seen your smile. This heart will be a true believer if you stay a while. This heart was stranded in the winter and stuck out in the blizzard in its summer clothes. This heart knows when the love comes and when it goes. This heart, this heart, this heart, this heart, this heart. This heart was stranded in the winter and stuck out in the blizzard in its summer clothes. This heart knows when the love comes and when it goes. Thank you. Thank you, Jano. Nice to see you, my dear. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, you're just you're right on time. Missed a couple of songs. Didn't miss much. This song is a song from the Lamont Cranston Blues Band, which no one has ever heard of, probably for us. Anybody ever heard of the Lamont Cranston Blues Band? Well, you don't know. Anyway, it's called Taking a Chance, and it's got a little philosophical message to it, I think. Anyway, here it is, Taking a Chance. Every time you walk out the door, you're taking a chance. Every time you cry for more, you're taking a chance. And every time you walk down the street, you're taking a chance. Every single person that you meet is taking a chance. You can't sit there, you just can't sit there. It'll be too late, too late, too late, too late. Wait a minute, nobody ever said it's gonna be easy. Nobody ever said it's gonna be easy, yeah. Nobody ever said it's gonna be easy. Get up and dance. Everybody's taking a chance. Everybody's taking a chance. You got a problem you can't solve, you better take a chance and forget it. Every move you make, there's a risk in life and a chance you might regret it. If she says she loves you, but you know better, you're taking a chance. Running around, you just let her, you're taking a chance. You can't sit there, you just can't sit there. It'll be too late, too late, too late, too late. Wait a minute, nobody ever said it's gonna be easy. Nobody ever said it was gonna be easy, yeah. Nobody ever said it was gonna be easy. Get up and dance. Everybody's taking a chance. Everybody's taking a chance. Everybody's taking a chance. Nobody ever said it was gonna be easy. Nobody ever said it was gonna be easy, yeah. Nobody ever said it was gonna be easy. Get up and dance. Everybody's taking a chance. Everybody's taking a chance. Everybody's taking a chance. Everybody's taking a chance. I mean, right? Everybody's taking a chance, you know. We're just all walking out the street. Everybody's taking a chance. Something about that just kills me. Melody, how you doing? So glad to see you. You're just about this big around. You're about this big around. No, you are. This big around. Just a little bit jealous. So, one of our heroes, singer-songwriters, nice to see you, is Susan Warner, for those of you who know her. Fabulous, amazing singer-songwriter woman. And So this has a little philosophical thing to it. It seems like I have a lot of that going on. So. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back when I was young and pretty, I was in the Crescent City, walking down by St. John, always in a hurry, living heaven for the world, trying someone wants to be on. I had too much education, too much information, didn't know the curse it could be. Walking by the Mississippi, met a happy German hippie. This is what she said to me. What she said? Free your ass, your mind will follow. It's that bone that's burning around, all you can't swallow. Cause we're here today, gone tomorrow. Free your ass, your mind will thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Well, of course I didn't listen, I was brimming with ambition. Had to prove that I was someone. Had to climb the ladder and show the world the matter. Couldn't make the time. I was burning every candle, was more than I could handle. Driven with anxiety. Saw a doctor in a clinic, it was psychoanalytic. This is what she said to me. What she said? Free your ass, your mind will follow. Take those pants, girl, go dance, and sit here and wallow. Cause we're here today, gone tomorrow. Free your ass, your mind will thank you, thank you very much. Go Jerry. Thank you very much. A good time is not a crime. A good time is not a crime. A good time is not a crime. A good time is not a what she say. A good time is not a crime. A good time is not a crime. Thank you very much. A good time is not a crime. Alright, so for those of you that are old enough to remember the Putnam County Pickers, you know. Anyway, this song goes all the way back to the Pickers. And for any of you that drove further than Dunbar, so this song is for you. It's called Everybody's Going on the Road. But I have to tell you, it's so weird. I just cannot seem to hydrate when I do this. It's so weird. Something weird physically is happening. All right, here we go. This is Steve Fromholt's tune. Here's from Texas. Ready? Go. Everybody's going on the road. You sail ship across the river wide. Everybody's going on the road wide. Blowing orange flags on the other side of the highway. Away left comes the east number. Big and every circle all line your load. You can take a lady or a dog if you wanna. Everybody's going on the road. Lady friend's going on the road. She takes a trip across the burning sands. Lady friend's going over Santa Fe. Going there with a handsome across the desert. Take pleasure to see my friends happy. You be the pappy and I'll be the mom. Take a trip across the burning sand. She was the sweetest girl that I saw. Everybody's going on the road with you, so you'll shiver on the river wide. Everybody's going on the road wide, don't flags on the other side of my highway. Away last cause of these numbers. Bigger than a certain all life, you don't know. You can take a lady over the road, pick it down. Now Sept going on the road, takes a crew or two to sail the sea. Sept going on a sailing ship, would you like to go along with me? We'll be the ones singing and winking, God, put your ticket for me close to the door. This trip on a sailing ship, I never gonna sleep no more. Everybody's going on the road with you, so we're gonna ride. Everybody's going on the road, wide road, aren't you glad it's on the other side of the highway? I wait less cause it is murder. Then you never search online, you're alone. And you can take a lady or a dog if you want. Everybody's going on the road. Pick it again, honey. Going on the road. He'd like to catch a ride in the semi-truck. City slippers going on the road. Wide open, he might run a little bit of luck. With a map for the back of the countryside. Ride and never get thrown. Take a right or a left or a breath of fresh air. Everybody's going on the road. Everybody's going on the road. You shows going on the road. Everybody's going on the road. Wide open, aren't you glad it's on the other side? We left cause it is murder. You can never start an all out your load. You can take a lady or a dog if you want. Everybody's going on the road. I said you can take a lady or a dog if you want. Everybody's going on, everybody's going on, everybody's going on the road. Yeah. How's the food? Is it yummy? Pretty good? How's the food?
Oh my God, it's fabulous.
Oh my God. So excited.
Make sure they say you didn't say
Oh, I'm not the least bit worried about it. Like I could. All right. So this next song, one of our favorites. Of course, you know, we wouldn't do them if they weren't our favorites. Then why? This is about a woman, it's a true story. It's about a woman in Iowa in the 1920s. And it's supposed to be a true story. It's called Egg Money. And it's also called The Confession of Betty Broadham. It's kind of a cautionary tale. Just, especially guys, cautionary tale. Okay, here we go, Jerry. Are we going? Yep. Oh, here we go. He wore a straw hat on his head and a tomcat in his smile. Told him he should understand this before he walks me down the aisle. Now you can have the money from the goats, the money from the cow, the money from the oats, the money from the sow. Don't you ever touch the egg money. That's crossing the line. Don't you ever touch the egg money. The egg money is mine. We had 7 years, then the trouble all began. First he started nipping at the chin, then he started seeing Mary Ann. Then he started gambling the dice, lost the horses and the plow, fell behind the stone, there was nothing there now. eggs were sunny side up, and the eggs were maybe too cold, and the eggs had maybe gone bad. Wheaties in the body went cold. Doctor said it's terribly sad. Not the egg money that's crossing the line. Don't you ever touch the egg money. The egg money is mine. The egg money is mine. The egg money is mine. Warning. They're warning. Oh, you doing good. Nice to see you. You're here. You don't let to take your bus. How you doing? Yeah, I hear. So we'll see if that, I turn the main down, see if that helps. If it doesn't, we only have 2 more songs, but let me know after this next one. Well, this is supposed to be our last song, but this is one that I want you to help me sing. Right. I know we have to sing it. You'll recognize it. Yeah. So I ask you to sing on the chorus with me, and it starts off with the chorus. And you recognize the song. I'll sing the verses. Egg money is mine. Anyway, here it comes. Hit the road, Jack. That's what we sing. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. I was expecting more out of you guys. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Oh baby, don't you treat me so mean. I'll be back on my feet someday. Don't care if you do, 'cause it's understood. You ain't got no love, you just ain't no good. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, don't you come back no more. What she saying, hit the road, Jack, don't you come back no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, don't you come back no more, no more. We always done. Where's Tom? Tom Epstein. Did that help?
Yes,
And you did. Did that help? Anybody else? Is mandolin still loud enough? Yes. Okay. All right, that's good. This is the only thing we got. Yeah.
All right. All right, we will do one more.
This will be our last song. It's supposed to be our encore, but we'll call it our last song. So this is a Tim O'Brien song. Tim O'Brien is a fabulous singer-songwriter from West Virginia. And I thank y'all so much for being an attentive audience. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. We do. And thank our sponsors, for helping with this picnic. Give them a nice hand. Just read out that list. It's a formidable list right here. So this song is called Melancholy Moon, Not. And it makes reference to a lot of country songs. You recognize most of them. Anywho, sure. Whistles don't get lonesome. I guess no one told pain. You never know, that might have been the reason why he drank. And what was really smoking when he wrote Hello Walls? Where'd my farm and downtown beer really have big balls? There's no regular combination of that one batch cannonball. And I've never known a telephone to ring right off the wall. That he couldn't fall to pieces on the midnight walk alone. And T don't stand for Texas, since Rose left San Antonio. Highways don't get lonesome, you're not my sunshine. Memories don't linger in the hallways of my mind. Don't believe that Porter ever saw that rubber river, and I've never seen a melancholy moon. Well, Elvis hated hound dogs. Is that false or true? No one really ever seen him wearing blue suede shoes. Was anybody watching when Johnny walked the line? Wonder if it really was the last thing on his mind. Well, if your mind is cold, you'll need more tonnage than 16. Can't recall the time when I was faded as my jeans. You had to be a hustle to have a heart of stone. After 6 days is on the road, his baby was not home. Highways don't get lonesome, you're not my sunshine. Memories don't linger in the hallways of my mind. Don't believe that Porter ever saw that rubber room, and I've never seen a moon like the moon. Go, Jerry. Guess no one told me. You never know, that might have been the reason why we drank. And what was we smoking when we wrote Hello Wall? We're gonna find that downtown living really have big balls. There's no regular combination on that Wabash cannonball. And I've never known a telephone ring right off the wall. Taxi didn't fall to pieces on the midnight walk alone. Emptied on San Francisco since Rose of San Antonio. I always don't get lonesome, you're not my sunshine. Memories don't linger in the hallways of my mind. Don't believe that Porter ever saw that rubber room, and I've never seen the Hollywood. Blue moon up into these more like yellow, and I've never seen the Hollywood. You're the lady, oh lady, oh lady. It's very good, but it's good.
That's all we got.
All right, we will do one more poem today. We're among friends here. What is the name of this? I should know. EMD. It's called EMD. It's a Dave Grisman song, of course, at Peachy Fury. On the octave mandolin he built. Ladies and gentlemen, listening to the octave mandolin he built. All right, this will be our last song, so get back. Okay, you ready?
I guess.
Thank y'all very much. That was fun. I had a really good time.
Testing. Hey folks, let's have a big hand for Sandy and Jerry, folks. Please give us a hand. They've been helping us out. And we'll do so again, I'm sure. And folks, we have all got to look at some of our old friends are here, and there are so many wonderful folks that we haven't seen for a while. We're all getting out for the first time. Norm, wave your hand over there, Norm. Norm Steenstra is here. Ms. Nixon is over here. She's smiling. There she is. Yes, I want y'all to vote for Emmett. Emmett, raise your hand up there. We know we need to elect that man. So we need to. And you know, there is food left. Please go get some. We have strawberry shortcake back there. Go get some dessert, folks. Okay. I am going to pull Gary up, and Mr. Zuckett has worked so hard. Gary's constantly on duty, and you know, I just want us to all give a big hand to Mr. Gary Zuckett, folks.
And that was Greg Carroll, he's one of my forever board members. Thank you, Greg. And also, a musical service guy. But I just also wanted to welcome everybody tonight to our 2022 awards picnic. We have a lot of, we want to lift up our awardees today. Unfortunately, for various reasons, none of them will be able to be with us here tonight in person. We have some people here to accept some of these awards, and we will give them out. And since this is also a fundraiser, I also wanted to recognize individuals and groups which pitched in to make this event possible. You will see they are listed on the boards there. We have labor allies, we have nonprofit allies, and we have individual members. Many of you are here tonight. We appreciate you all. Thank you for your support. And finally, I wanted to thank the staff and the board members for the tireless help in pulling this all together. So, where are we? Julie, Eve, and the volunteer bartenders, and everybody who's given them a hand. We will have a really good time. You know, it's been a wild ride here since the 2020 elections put West Virginia on the national political map. We've all worked so diligently to move significant federal legislation, and now we're seeing the fruits of our labors, with resources now coming in from the Infrastructure and Inflation Acts. However, in contrast, we are just plainly outraged with what's going on in our state government right now.
Right.
Especially this week's special session. It is indeed a sad week for West Virginia. We've really hit a new low up there. However, I do believe there's light at the end of the tunnel. With the new leadership at the top of our state's Blue Party and newly activated women and young people, I think we can now finally begin working back to building a much stronger force for positive changes here in West Virginia. We do have to build back better. You know, I saw a hashtag yesterday as folks were reacting to the abortions ban. Hashtag Rovember. So we need to remember in Rovember, folks. In fact, I got to say that on Hoppy Kirchhoff's radio show this morning when I called in. So that was fun. So speaking of positive change, how about that Inflation Reduction Act? It's the biggest investment in climate in our history. sets targets for lowering drug costs for seniors. And it finally makes the super rich pay a fair share of taxes like the rest of us.
baby.
So let's keep working with this kind of momentum. Let's keep this momentum going. And we've got this momentum here too at Citizen Action, where day after day, week after week, there's a lot going on. It's going out with the Citizen Action Office. We're working on the Get Out to Vote efforts with allies around the civic engagement table. And they're standing there, leading the civic engagement table. Shout out to Dan. We're intervening at the Public Service Commission to prevent more corporate welfare going to coal and gas and keep electric rates down. And Emmett is part of our legal team. Where'd he go? He's part of our legal team for that. So another shout out to Emmett. And so we do this as part of West Virginians for Energy Freedom. That's what we need in this state, energy freedom. We need freedom from coal and oil and gas. So we are working for that. We're working in the Healthcare Coalition, Healthcare for All West Virginia, with West Virginians for Affordable Healthcare, one of our sponsors, and West Virginia Center on Budget, another one of our sponsors. We're still working in the West Virginia Service Owners' Rights Organization. Dave McMahon couldn't be here today, but he's been really keeping that going and taking the lead on that. So it's important that we pause in the work to take time like this to celebrate our wins and lift up individuals that are helping make a difference. So thank you all for coming out again, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Sally now, who's going to begin our awards presentation. Sally Roberts, another one of our board members. Thank you.
Hello, friends. Oops, I think I'm going to bring that down a bit. For those who don't know me, I'm Sally Roberts. I'm a board member of West Virginia Citizen Action Group and a chair of Rise Up West Virginia, an independent affiliate of West Virginia Citizen Action Group. I'm very honored today to be able to present the Thomas A. Knight Excalibur Award to two of the most joyfully and soulfully committed individuals to the furtherance of justice and equity in our state, our country, and our world that I have been graced to work beside and also call friends. Crystal Good, an Appalachian artist, social advocate, digital media entrepreneur, founder, publisher, and editor of Black by God, the West Virginian, and the fiercely committed reproductive and social equity advocate Emily Thompson, Director of Organizing for Planned Parenthood Votes South Atlantic. Unfortunately, Crystal has been under the weather and is recovering, so cannot be here today in person. But let me tell you a few things about this remarkable person and why we are so pleased to honor her. She is a member of the Appalachian Poets, a group of writers and artists whose creations and existence combat the erasure of African American identity in the Appalachian region. An Irene McKinney Scholar, an author of Valley Girl, she is the founder and CEO of Mixed Media, a marketing and consulting firm that teaches media and engagement strategies to mission-driven organizations. And she has been a member of the band Heroes Are Gang Leaders. She also works as an advocate for the environment, education, and economic actions like industrial hemp. And she is creating the digital commons for voters to express their concerns through her self-made position of social media senator for West Virginia. Crystal Good has spoken and read her poetry in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, at the West Virginia section of the Women's March in Washington, D.C., for the 2013 TEDx conference in Lewisburg, West Virginia, for the Louder Arts Project, for the Appalachian Mountain Advocates, and for students and scholars at several universities and colleges. I first remember meeting Crystal Good in the halls of the legislature as we were waiting on a bench to be let in to speak to our senator. We struck up a conversation, and by the end of the day, I was telling her that she needed to run for office. And I still tell her that whenever I see her. And she is everywhere. There is something to be done. She even grabbed me to take a selfie with Bernie Sanders when we were in D.C. fighting for Build Back Better and voting rights, and she was filming for CNN. But her creativity and love for writing have taken her into other avenues of important civic engagement work, and that is the Fourth Estate, with her commitment to continuing the important legacy of Black journalism and newspapers in America. Her commitment to reporting and lifting up stories about, by, and for the African American community is part of a legacy that has preserved important parts of our rich collective history that would otherwise have been unreported, falsely co-opted or corrupted, buried or forgotten. She has helped to move the content to the mediums of the 21st century and will ensure that this rich history continues, and that we are made aware of the contributions so generally overlooked, unappreciated, and marginalized of the people in our communities who are doing such important work today. Thomas Knight was a reporter for the Gazette, a legislator, a labor lobbyist, and an advocate for the environment and social justice. And for this reason, there can be no more fitting and deserving recipient of this award than West Virginia's own and an American treasure, Crystal Good. And next, I would like to invite Emily Thompson's father, Tom, to come up here while I present the award to Emily. Next, I'm so honored to also, except I don't have you.
In the box.
But you can just stand with me. Oh, where?
You're in the box. There's some box right there.
Sally, it's over there.
Oh, sorry. Oh, here, thank you. Thank you. And next, I'm so honored to also present this award to another warrior. Okay. To another warrior for freedom and justice, Emily Thompson, Director of Organizing for Planned Parenthood South Atlantic Votes. Sadly, Emily is also unable to be here with us today, but we are so pleased to be able to present the award to her beloved father, Tom, on her behalf. Emily Thompson was born and raised in Point Pleasant and returned home to West Virginia when she joined the Planned Parenthood South Atlantic team in the fall of 2016 as the state's community organizer. She moved into the Director of Organizing role in 2018, where she managed advocacy efforts in West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. She was recently promoted to Deputy Director for Planned Parenthood Votes, South Atlantic, the organization's political and advocacy arm, and Director of Campaigns for Planned Parenthood South Atlantic. In these roles, she continues to work across 4 states to manage the organization's advocacy and accountability work. Emily's infectious enthusiasm and warm smile were an instant draw to the many hours of tabling she did when I first met her. From the pride parades to the healthcare for all events, she was there with t-shirts, sign-up sheets, pins, and educational materials for reproductive choices. What really impressed me about her was her steadfast commitment to inclusion, racial equity, and the support of the LGBTQ community, especially the trans community. And like Crystal, she was everywhere in the halls of the legislature, working to improve the lives of children in foster care, to provide coverage for postpartum health care, menstrual equity for school children and those in prison, and of course, defending reproductive freedoms. And also in the streets, canvassing and working to elect those who would fight for the cause of reproductive justice. She is unstoppable. What is equally remarkable is that she has often done this work without the explicit support of other progressive organizations who have tended to shy away from the controversial subject of abortion. She has had to do this work under threats and duress, and with a fearlessness that true leaders possess. She has had the wonderful support of those in her organization and the reproductive community, but often was in a position apart from the support that others in the general progressive community could count on. It did not stop her or make her give up. In the words of a great senator, she persisted, and she still persists. As we are all too aware, the legislature has just dealt us a tremendous blow in West Virginia. And a plug for each and every one of you to call Governor Justice to demand a veto. I'm sure Emily wouldn't mind if I put that plug out there. Do it. But it is Emily and her wonderful co-workers in West Virginia, like Emily Wolmendorf, Elisa Clements, and Ixia Vega, to name a few, who will not give up the fight and will press on to retain our bodily autonomy, privacy, and individual freedom of choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Emily's infectious enthusiasm, her wonderful smile, her incredible work ethic, and energy, I'm sure we will not fail. And so I'm very, very proud today to be able to present the Thomas A. Knight Excalibur Award to Emily Thompson for her fearlessness, her courage, and her unwavering commitment to reproductive liberty, freedom, and justice for all. And now I'd like to turn this over. I think. Yeah, great. To Julie Archer. Another fearless warrior.
No introduction necessary.
No introduction necessary.
But do it anyway.
Okay, I will. Thank you,
So, upon request, first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Julie Archer. I'm a project manager with West Virginia Citizen Action Group, and it is my honor, having had the pleasure of working with our recipient, to be able to present the Thomas A. Knight Excalibur Award to Kaya Smith. And our board member, Loretta Young, who has worked closely with Takaya over the past few years. Loretta was supposed to be here to make this presentation, but she was delayed. She was returning from Washington, where she traveled this week to celebrate the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. So So I am filling in, and I will try to give Takaya's accomplishments justice, but I did not have as much time to prepare as I would have liked. So, one thing that came to mind to me about all of our awardees, all of the people we are recognizing and honoring this evening are on the front lines of critical issues facing our state and nation and our society as a whole, as we struggle to defend our most basic fundamental rights, including our right to live free from discrimination, our right to privacy and bodily autonomy, and the right to vote. The backlash. Sorry, I just want to. The backlash against the Black Lives Matter movement for racial justice and equality, it's alive and well, and the growing effort to censor and punish educators and keep them from having truthful and honest discussions with our kids about systemic racism, oppression, and privilege is a major part of that backlash. Radical politicians have used this frenzy to pass laws that are anti-student and anti-learning, and these policies claim to protect students and give voice to parents, what they do is erase history and limit independent thought. And fighting this attack on education so that every student has the opportunity to succeed and thrive. I know that it's currently a major focus of Takaya's work with the campaign for Our Shared Future, where she works as a development and organizing associate. And that's just one of many hats that Takaya wears, including serving. She's recently become the president of the Berkeley County Diversity Council and is on the board of the Women's Health Center of West Virginia. Over the past 7 years, Takaya has collaborated with community members, advocates, and allies to address racial justice matters in West Virginia, ranging from equity on campuses, the school-to-prison pipeline, disparities in policing, economic justice, and combating voter suppression. She is leading a youth and Black-led movement, empowering students to mobilize in their own communities and to make change in the systems impacting our daily lives. Takaya's accomplishments are too numerous to mention here, and it speaks volumes that she has already been recognized many times for her work and accomplishments, including being a recipient of the 2020 and 21 Beacon Award for her movement-building work, informing, supporting, and connecting youth to social action and advocacy to address racial issues and make our communities, campuses, and systems more equitable, compassionate, and just. I know that Takaya has many years ahead of her, and she will continue to be an inspiration and source of strength and wisdom to those she has worked with and mentored through her organizing and advocacy. And for her leadership and commitment to racial justice, racial, social, and economic justice, and working to improve the quality of life for all West Virginians, I'd like you to join me in congratulating Takaya on her award, the Thomas A. Knight Excalibur Award. But I also wanted to say, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, that she had planned to be here this evening, but her grandmother is in the hospital and is likely passing away. So our thoughts and prayers are with her this evening. But I know she wanted to be here, but she's where she needs to be. But let's give her a big round of applause. So I will move into the next award, and I will skip my second introduction of myself. But I will say that it is my pleasure this evening to be able to present another award, and this one is the Cy Galperin in Defense of Democracy Award, and this year's recipient is Natalie Tennant. Okay. So I was thinking back, and if my memory serves me correct, and I am getting older, I think I first met Natalie in 2006 when my former coworker Ted Bittner, who I think many people here know, Ted was running for the House of Delegates, and Natalie's husband Eric Wells, who's here with us this evening, Eric was running for the state senate, and I was Ted's campaign treasurer. So that election, we spent some time together canvassing neighborhoods in the Kanawha Valley. And then, fast forward 2 years later, Natalie was running for Secretary of State, and I also remember from that election doing numerous honking waves along with Natalie and Rosemary Lockhart, who worked on Natalie's campaign and at one time was on CAG's board of directors. But more important than that, what I remember was that as a candidate, Natalie took an interest in the work that we were doing with our partners and allies in the West Virginia Citizens for Clean Elections Coalition to increase transparency and accountability in West Virginia elections and to give everyday West Virginians a greater voice in the political process. And it meant a lot to the organization that she took this interest in her work. And as our lead staff person who has been working on that, it meant a lot to me personally. And I recall one particular meeting where Natalie came out of the office to meet with us, and Cy Galpin was there, who this award is named after. And we had a meeting, and it was right, not long before he passed away. But one of the things that I think Natalie and Cy have in common is a deep and strong commitment to public service. So during her first term as Secretary of State, Natalie won. We're glad. The scope of our work, our election work, broadened from campaign finance and reducing the influence of the special interests that try to buy our elections. And we started working more on expanding voter registration and trying to remove barriers to the ballot box. And Natalie, I would say, in sharp contrast to our current Secretary of State in particular, was always with us, even when the county clerks, who unfortunately are often our foes, were not. And it was during her tenure that the state established online voter registration, and she was instrumental in making West Virginia the third state in the country to adopt automatic voter registration, which is an innovative policy that makes it more convenient to register to vote. And I will say that sadly this achievement has been undermined by her successor, but it was a really important accomplishment. And then when control of the legislature shifted in her second term, Natalie always stood with us through some pretty major fights, including opposing voter ID legislation, and there were just multiple attempts to bring more money and less transparency into our elections. In 2007, Natalie joined the Brennan Center for Justice, and that is an organization that has just been a critically important and helpful resource to us over the years. And so she joined them as a manager of state advocacy and voting rights, state advocacy for voting rights and elections. And she continued to represent West Virginia well as she traveled the country working to expand and improve voter registration opportunities, testifying before congressional committees and state legislative committees about the importance of improving the election process and access to voting. And during her time at the Brennan Center, and she still continues to work with them as a consultant on voting rights, she has continued to give generously of her time to share her knowledge and expertise to efforts to protect and improve ballot access here at home in West Virginia, and we value that tremendously. And just an example of that, during the 2021 legislative session, Natalie worked with us, and a lot of you were part of this too, but we worked with us to defeat a bill that would have eliminated the most popular days of early voting and allow county clerks and the Secretary of State to start removing people from the voter rolls, after just missing one election. And in the wake of the 2020 election, this was really, a significant victory. And there was a public hearing at the Capitol, and it was really, the public hearing that was held, it drew the terrible bill drew support from several prominent Republicans who had helped perpetuate lies about widespread voter fraud and aided and abetted former President Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. So it was very scary, and we were very glad that we were able to defeat that. Through the remainder of the year, Natalie always answered the call anytime we asked her to speak or participate in events as we worked to pass federal legislation to clean up our political system, end gerrymandering, counter the power of big money in politics, and expand and protect voting rights. And even though she's a prominent person, she's been elected statewide, she's run for the U.S. Senate, and she's somebody who's used to being in the limelight. But when we asked her to come out, she didn't need to be front and center. She was glad just to show up, hold signs and banners, and just stand shoulder to shoulder with us in the fight. And with the serious and ongoing threats to our democracy, we are extremely grateful that Natalie continues to lend her voice and speak out about the critical need to safeguard our elections from subversion and sabotage and protect the freedom to vote for all Americans. So Natalie is currently serving as a resident fellow at Harvard University's Institute of Politics, a very well-deserved fellowship, where she is sharing her knowledge and expertise with students and emerging leaders exploring important public issues related to political and civic engagement. So she is unable to be here with us this evening because she's in Boston, but Eric is here to accept the award on her behalf. So please join me in congratulating an outstanding ally and friend and this year's Psi Alpha and Defense of Democracy Award recipient, Natalie Tennant.
So I have to say a few words, Julie, only because there's a microphone and I like talking, so let me just be really brief. First of all, I'm going to not only apologize, but I sent a photograph of myself in my attire to Natalie, just to get sort of an approval, and she said, "You do know this is a picnic." I said, "No, I did." So I am certainly overdressed, but I did want to point something out. It's not quite pink, somewhat pink, probably more red. But as most of you probably know, Natalie is now listed along as being a breast cancer survivor. So the first time around for the Institute of Politics up at Harvard, we were sitting in the surgeon's room. They just left, and she got the phone call saying, "You've been selected." And this was for the previous semester. And we just kind of laughed because that's just the way we roll at times. So she ended up realizing that she's not going to be able to do it. And she reaches out and they said, "Well, we can't guarantee you that in the fall semester it would be available." So she said, "I understand that." She reapplied, and me, I felt like she was going to end up getting it anyways. I mean, how do you say no to somebody one semester and then they have breast cancer? You don't want to say yes in the fall semester when you're going to have a critical election. So she did get in, thankfully, and she's up in Cambridge now not Boston. She's already become a little bit tooty-tooty. She's like, it is Cambridge, it's not Boston. But she's enjoying it. This is, I think, her second week. And she was on a panel last night, and I was watching it on my phone. And today she's like, well, how did I do? And she did really well. And she knows her stuff. And what's interesting, Julie, is she certainly appreciated the work of CAG. I appreciated the work of CAG during my time in the state senate. But over the last couple of years, the respect that she has for you has just grown immensely in terms of her ability to get the job done. I think at one point, Julie sent along some talking points, and now it's like, boy, these are just right on target. So you should be really proud of just not Julie's work, but the work of CAG overall. And the one thing that Natalie asked me to say is that this is a critical election. We are in a state that is certainly red, but what I would ask people to do is, and this is Natalie asking people to do, but I also follow the same philosophy, is don't let people just post stuff online and go unchallenged. Challenge them with facts. It is something that we have on our side. I remember driving back on January the 6th. I was on active duty 4 years, for the almost last 4 years, and watching on my phone the attack. And then coming into the house and seeing Natalie and Delaney sitting on the couch and just looking in disbelief. It's ironic to me that people today can just get away with saying anything. And there's a host of people running for office, not just in West Virginia, but around the country, who want to be election deniers. The bedrock of our democracy is a fair election. And this election and the past elections have always been fair. I'm not going to say always been fair. If you go way back to West Virginia time, there's probably some issues there. But the security systems in place today are really good. So as we move forward, you just can't give up. The setbacks are going to be in front of us, but it's a long game. And when you think about the Republicans in West Virginia and their cry of 84 years of Democrat control, the difference in that was the Democrat Party had liberal, moderate, conservative. The Republican Party has a degree of conservative, and then they have their extreme. And we have to stop that. And the only way you're going to stop that is to get out and vote and make sure you bring people to vote. And the last thing I'll say is totally non-political, but I've been asked a couple of times about my daughter Delaney and where she is. She started off at Pace University after graduating in 20. Then she was there for a year, all online in a dorm room all by herself. Her roommate was out the first week for drugs. So Delaney that was her education for the first year in New York. Then she decided that, I really want a college experience, a football team, so she goes to the UK. She was there for a semester, and she's just like, well, I don't think that this is really going to be for me either here. So she came back, and then everything that we went through health-wise, it was probably a good decision. She's now out in Los Angeles at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, trying her hand at that, and I certainly wish her well. And what I tell her, and I tell anybody who want to listen, just follow what you want to do in life, because you don't want to be unhappy. If you follow what you want to do, and for this particular group, it's called democracy and fighting for democracy, continue to fight for it and follow it, because at the end of the day, it's all we really have in this country. So thank you very much, and thank you on behalf of
Gary, did you have any closing words?
I just also wanted to apologize. This has been such a busy time for me, and I realized as I sat over there that I had the wrong award name, but the sentiments still stand, and I apologize to the awardees that I gave the wrong name for the award. But thank you.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up real quick so we can go back to mingling, which is the most fun part of this picnic. Oh, that's right. We have that 50-50 drawing to draw for, so we'll do that now. How about that? A little excitement, drum roll. But while she's getting the ticket, I just want to thank everyone again for coming out, for supporting citizen action, and for helping us all move to build back better in West Virginia, because West Virginia needs us to do that. We're in a predicament here, and it's been a long time getting us into this situation. It's going to take a while to get back out, but we can do it if we all work together. So let's do it. And we have, get your tickets out, everybody. We're going to pick a winner for the 50-50 drawing. Okay, here we go. The ticket, the lucky number is 967230. 967230.
Oh, I got that.
Do we have it? Okay. Let's see Julie at the registration table. Bring your ticket, and we'll settle up with you. Thank you. Again, thank everybody, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thanks for being here.
I was